Hare Krishna Mataji. Just give me a couple of minutes, I'll get started.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'll get started in a couple of minutes, okay?
Mataji, it's already live. If you want to, I can start recording once you are ready.
Okay. I'll just come in a minute. Hare Krishna. We'll get started with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll offer prayers to Valmiki Muni, Hanuman, and Lord Sri Ramchandra. Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisamhasya Kavita Manacharinaha Shrinvan Ramakatha Nadam Kumunayati Param Gatim Veda Vedye Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharatatmaje Veda Pracheta Sad Asit Sakshat Ramayanatmana Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि आञ्जनेयमदिपाटनालनं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमथ राक्षसान्तकम् जयत्राशतसन्त्रासध्वन्द्वविद्वांसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं श्रीराम नाम वरानने. Hare Krishna. Super quick recap. In the beginning of Kishkinda, Kanda, Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, they proceeded towards the Pampa Sarovar. And looking at the beauty of Pampa Sarovar, Lord Ramachandra was filled with agony and separation from Sita Devi. As they entered this area, the Vanaras, they got alarmed seeing two Kshatriya personalities coming into that area. And especially there was one particular Vanara who was very worried seeing this, and that was Sugriva. So Sugriva, he talks with Hanuman, who's his minister, and tells him that I see two people coming, and these two must have been sent by Vali. So Sugriva asks Hanuman to go and find out who these two are, whether they have friendly intentions or they have some intentions of enmity. So Hanuman goes and sees Ramachandra. He initially goes in the Vesha, or the dress of a bhikshu. But then later, when he sees Lord Ramachandra and he talks to him, he introduces himself as the minister of Sugriva. Ramachandra is very impressed with the fine speech of Hanuman, and he tells Lakshman to introduce himself and also introduce Rama. So Lakshmana introduces himself as I am the servant of my brother, and for my brother, he sees me as a brother, but I consider myself as a servant of my brother. So then he also tells the story of how Lakshman, Ram, and Sita actually came to the forest, and later Ravana stole the wife of Lord Ramachandra. So they go ahead and they get introduced to Sugriva by the mercy of Hanuman, and they enter a pact of friendship. They light a fire, they go around the fire, and they take vows of friendship. Sugriva then begins to tell his own story, and in the process, he also tells that he remembers Sita dropping her jewels, and he goes to the cave and he brings out the jewels and he asks Lord Ramachandra to identify the jewels. Ramachandra sees those jewels and he breaks down into tears. And Lord Rama, he asks Lakshmana to identify the jewels because his eyes is all filled with tears. But Lakshman says, I can only identify the anklet of my mother Sita. Then Sugriva requests Ram to calm down, and Sugriva begins narrating his story. He opens up, he tells his entire story, how he and Vali once, because they were challenged by the sons of Mayadanava, they had to go and fight with a particular demon. And Sugriva stood at the entrance of the cave. Vali went inside, and finally, thinking that Vali was dead, Sugriva closed the cave and he came and he took the throne. But then Vali, who was alive, he emerged out of the cave and he came and he was very annoyed with Sugriva. So he banishes Sugriva, though Sugriva surrendered to Vali. He surrendered to Vali. He asked him in various ways that I begged you, I bowed on my head, I fall at your feet. It was not intentional, but still Vali kicks him out. That Sharanagati was a failure. So now Sugriva, he tells that I have a problem. I'm staying here, and Vali can kill me anytime. So Ramachandra accepts the friendship of Sugriva and assures Sugriva that he will eliminate Vali. But before that, Vali was extremely strong. So Sugriva, he wanted to talk about the strength of his brother. So he tells about the tale of Dundubi, and he also tells about how Ali was able to shake sala trees and make them leafless. So Rama was pretty much tested by Sugriva, and Rama shoots an arrow that passes through seven sala trees. And at the same time, he also kicks the skeleton of Dundubi. So Rama passes in the test, and then they took a decision to go and face Vali. So the Vanara Sugriva was sent to face Vali. So he calls out to Vali, and that is their first fight. Okay, so Vali, he comes out and he fights this time. And still, in spite of though the fight was going on, Vali was being very triumphant, and Sugriva was getting beaten up, but Ramachandra was not shooting an arrow. So Sugriva, he literally ran away from there and he comes to the Rishimukha Parvata and he tells Ram, you should have told me earlier. If you didn't have a plan to shoot an arrow and kill him, why did you even send me to fight with him? But then Lord Ramachandra said that you both look so similar, so we have to come up with a plan to differentiate. So then he takes out this Gajapushpika creeper and he asks Lakshman to actually garland Sugriva. And Sugriva, he bows down to Lakshman and he accepts the garland. So without without giving respect to the Guru, it is impossible for one to attain the Lord or attain the mercy of the Lord. So that is something that we learned there. So the second time they went back to see Vali, but this time Tara stopped Vali and she told that Sugriva's tone and tenor is very different. I'm sure he has help from Ramachandra. I've heard a lot about him from Angada's spies. So I don't think it's a good idea for you to go. But then Sugriva, he doesn't listen to what Vali has to say, and he decides to go and fight. So this time they were distinguished, and when the fight was going on, Lord Ramachandra, he shoots an arrow, and that arrow hits Vali. Vali begins to question why he was killed like that from behind a tree, and then he accuses Ram, and Vali's 7 8 questions were all answered very intelligently and in a very dharmic way by Lord Ramachandra. And finally, Vali himself gives a verdict. He says, no, you are the only one who knows all the truths. And I was very immature in asking such silly questions. But then Vali also laments for Angada, and then Tara comes in, she laments, Hanuman consoles everybody, and Vali tells that Sugriva would be the king. He gives the golden pendant to Sugriva. And then Vali tells Sugriva that don't forget, once you become the king, you should keep up your promise to your friend and you should help Lord Ramachandra. Then Vali departs and the associates are heartbroken. Sugriva also wants to enter fire. Tara wants to enter fire. But then they both are consoled by Lord Ramachandra and the final rites are conducted. Now, after everything was over, Lord Ramachandra told Lakshman, Hanuman, and others to go and coronate Sugriva because he had since he was banished the forest, he'd never entered a city. He never entered a city to basically do these rituals like coronation, etc. So he asks Lakshman, Vanaras headed by Hanuman to take care of the rituals. And he decides to stay in a place that is called as Rishyamukha Parvata. Rishyamukha means where the animals go mute. Rishya is the animals. Mukha means they become like mute. So that is the place where we have already said the story how Mathanga Rishi had pronounced a curse on Vali. And many animals were also fearful of entering that place. They become mute, they don't trouble because of the presence of Mathanga Rishi's austerities. So this was a safe place for Sugriv to be there. And I mean, this was a safe place for Sugriv. Sorry, Lord Ramachandra. Sorry, I said something wrong. Lord Ramachandra goes and stays in Malyavanta Parvata. That is the place where Lord Ramachandra decides to stay. While Sugriva, during his banishment, he was staying in Rishyamukha Parvata, but now he enters the city of Kishkinda because now he can take over the entire kingdom of Kishkinda. So he was anointed in the Kishkinda area, which was originally ruled by Bali. So the anointation happened, the coronation happened, and then Lord Ramachandra stayed back in the Malyavanta Parvata. It's also called as Prashravanagiri. Very, very beautiful place. There is still a Raghunatha temple there. And even the description in the Ramayana fits very well in the actual presence of that particular hill. So he stays there. And Ramachandra is feeling separation from Sita. It was the Chaturmas, right? So the 4 months of the rainy season had to pass by. And Ramchandra himself knew that it will be impossible to mobilize the troops to go to Lanka and find Sita or wherever Sita was. It would be very impossible for them to mobilize troops at this point in time. So they decide that during the Chaturmas season, we will not go anywhere. So the Sharad Ritu and the Vasanta Ritu, both of them were passing by. And meanwhile, Sugriva was enjoying. And Hanuman once reminds Sugriva that, see, almost the time is getting over. It is better you start calling out for the Vanaras. And in the last class, we stopped at a point where actually Sugriva took action. It's not that Sugriva forgot to take action when he was advised by Hanuman. Sugriva did take action. He actually asked for many of the Vanaras to come. He sent word that all the Vanaras should come within a few days, within 15 nights. And if they do not come there within 15 nights, then they will be given lifetime punishment. And he tells Hanuman that associated with Angada, you should also go to senior personalities like Jambavanta and others and ensure that all the forces are assembled here. Use Neela, who's our commander, and make sure that the army is gathered. So, but however, the mistake Sugriva did at this point in time is that he forgot to inform Ram that he has taken action. So this communication gap created a furious emotion in Lord Ramachandra. And Ramachandra gets very upset that the Kartik month was also ending because after the end of Kartik month, the Chaturmas ends, and that is when they wanted to mobilize the troops. And I mean, they wanted to go and search for Sita Devi. But then there was no communication that was coming from Sugriva, and this really angered Lord Ramachandra. So that is where we are, and we have to continue from there today. So the Sharat Ritu. So the next season was ending, the Sharat Ritu. After the rainy season, Varsha Ritu, now the Sharat Ritu was also ending. So seeing the Sharad Ritu, Lord Ramachandra, who was in the caves of this Malyavanta Parvata, he was in great distress because he was thinking of Sita every single day. He was yearning for the association of Sita. Lord Ramachandra lamented in various ways. He told Lakshman, you know, Lakshman, when we were in the hermitage previously in the forest, when Sita Devi hears the call of the Sarasa birds, she would call me and she would tell, "Come out, oh Ram, let's go and hear these birds. They sound so beautiful." And she would be so delighted to hear the chirping of these Sarasa birds. But today, I don't know. I can hear these Sarasa birds, but I don't know where Sita is. Maybe she's amidst the demons. And will she be able to take delight in seeing these birds? Alas, she cannot even call me, saying, "Oh, Rama, come here. Let's both go and hear the voice of the Sarasa birds." And seeing the flowers of the season, Sita would go near the trees and she would check their beauty and she would call out for me. She would call, "Hey, Ram, come, let's go and see these beautiful flowers. Did you see this white flower is so beautiful?" She would be excited to display the beauty of the flowers to me. But now, wherever she is amidst the demons, will she be able to see those flowers? And she will not find me there. She will lose her heart. She'll be so upset that she cannot associate with me. So when Lord Ramachandra was lamenting like this, Lakshman tried to console him in various ways. Lakshman told Ram, "Oh my dear brother, please focus your mind on the mission that we have to undertake. So get your mind ready. Time is ticking. It's high time we go. We have to go soon with the help of our dear friend Sugriva. So our action is pending. Let's focus our mind on action instead of lamenting on the separation." And he tells, "Oh, dear Lord, Rama, you are the Lord of the people, and you are the husband of Janaki. Janaki is no ordinary person. She has a husband like you. And if someone tries to attain Janaki, then they will be burnt into fire, just like how a grasshopper, by mistake, when it goes into fire, it will be engulfed by the fire. So Janaki is not any ordinary woman. She is like flaming fire. So no man can really go near her. So you please console yourself and get your mind ready so that we can go on our mission." So like this, the Sharad Ritu in separation is discussed for a one full chapter actually, how Rama laments in various ways thinking of Sita, and the 4 months rolled by, but there was no message from Sugriva. So then, at the end of the 4th month, Ramachandra was very, very furious. He told Lakshman, "Lakshman, now the 4 rainy seasons have completely rolled by, and this has been like 100 years for me because in this 4 months I couldn't take any action to go and find Sita. I'm engulfed with grief. And it appears that the Sugriva is no more a kind person. What does he think of me? He thinks, oh, my wife is departed, my kingdom is plundered, I am homeless and I'm desperate and I'm dependent on him. He thinks my kingdom is gone, I'm an insecure person, and I'm going to be prosecuted by this Ravana. He thinks I'm useless just because I'm away from my homeland. He thinks I don't have a leg to stand on. What is his nature? What is he thinking about me? Does he think that out of weak-heartedness I've gone and take shelter of him? Maybe because of all these reasons, he's thinking that I am not at all capable. He's not responded. It has been 4 months and he has not sent a single message. So he said that this Sugriva, he was very, very tricky. He entered a treaty into me, he made friendship with me, and he got his mission accomplished. He got Vali killed by me, and he made a promise that he will help me find Sita. And just because it is Chaturmas, there was a halt. But he has not kept up his promise. Chaturmas has gone by. What kind of person is he? If someone promises a word, he must take action on it and he must accomplish it. That is a real worthy person. But who is this Sugriva? And then he gets very angry and he shouts, "Oh, Sugriva, once more, do you want to hear the clashing of my bowstring? Do you want to face that?" And so he tells he thinks about Sugriva, and Ramachandra shouts out, "Who do you think you are? See how I can eliminate you in a second." So he thinks at this point in time, Lord Ramachandra speaks out about Sugriva. He says, "This Sugriva, he completely knows about who I am. He knows my valor. He tested me to pierce the shala trees and lift the dead body of Dundubi, and I also killed Vali. He's very well aware of my righteousness, and he's also very well aware of my valor. So he better be careful. Any minute I can destroy him if he has really forgotten the promise that he has made to me." And he said, 4 months have slipped away. And he called Lakshman and he told, "My dear brother, now the task is on you. Now you proceed to Kishkinda and let Sugriva know that the path by which Vali has gone has not tapered away. And in the same path, I will send him also, along with all his well-wishers." So he tell this message to Sugriva that he has to make his promise a reality, otherwise he will soon see death in the same way Vali had seen death. And even animals like vultures and insects and scavengers will not even smell the body of a thankless person. So once I kill you, you're such a thankless person, nobody will, even these wild animals will not come and even smell you, forget about eating you, because they think, "Oh, who is this such a thankless man?" And they will walk away. So hearing this command given by Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman got very, very furious. He got very angry. And he said, "Yes, brother, this Sugriva, he has forgotten you. He has taken the kingdom by your mercy and he's reunited with his wife. And you killed his enemy Vali, and he's not even having any intention to help you. See what I will do. I will go and I will kill that unfaithful Sugriva, and I will make friendship with Angada, and keeping Angada as our leader, we will go and find Sita." So that is what Lakshman says in great anger. Then, after an exchange of emotional dialogues, Ramachandra cools down and he also pacifies Lakshman. He says, "Okay, don't take whatever I said too seriously. Killing Sugriva will not be appropriate. Don't tell that you'll go and kill Sugriva and crown Angada, and then with Angada's command, we all will go. So let's not do all that. Actually, when you go and speak to Sugriva, speak to him nicely. Don't show any anger or don't pass caustic remarks. Tell him nicely that he has to help us at this point in time." So, controlling his anger, now Lakshman wielding his bow, he was trying to control his anger, but his anger is very difficult to control. This is Lakshman, right? But he was wielding his bow, and with great difficulty, he was controlling his anger, and he started walking towards the palace of Sugriva. And Lakshman was a very strict follower of Lord Ramachandra. He wanted to execute the task given by Lord Ramachandra. At the same time, he's very intelligent, like Brihaspati. Extremely intelligent and extremely loyal. So he was practicing his dialogues, Valmiki says. So when he was walking towards the palace of Sugriva, he was murmuring the exact words that Rama asked him to tell. So he was trying to memorize the message, and then he was thinking in his mind, what could be the possible reply that Sugriva will give, and how I can counter reply to him, and how I can, give back these, give him counter go back and forth with dialogues. So pretty much he was practicing all this in a very furious state, and he started walking like a whirlwind towards the palace of Sugriva. And on the way, while he was walking, he was knocking down all the huge trees, and he was breaking huge boulders with his strength because he was extremely angry. He was taking out all that anger, and then finally he went to the mansion. So, seeing Lakshman coming like this, some of the Vanaras, seeing his mood, that he was breaking boulders and he was ripping apart trees and he was so angry, some of the Vanaras, they thought that Lakshman is coming to attack them, and out of instinct, they also started picking up rocks, like as if they are going to attack Lakshman, counter attack Lakshman. But then seeing them behave like this, Lakshman got even more furious. And seeing the extreme fury of Lakshman, all these Vanaras, they ran away. And some of the Vanaras, they went running to the palace of Sugriva, and they told about the arrival of Lakshman, and also that Lakshman seems very, very angry. Now, at this point in time, Sugriva, who was inside the palace, he was in a very lustful mood. He was in the company of Tara, and he wanted some privacy. So he was not at all listening to the words of the Vanaras. The Vanaras went running in a haste, and they were all screaming, Lakshman is coming, Lakshman is coming, Lakshman is coming. There is problem, he's angry. But Sugriva, he couldn't even understand what they were telling because he was so indulgent in sense pleasures that he didn't even acknowledge it. And some of the other Vanaras who heard these screeching of the other ones who were relaying the message, they went to the gateway and they saw this furious Lakshman. And how did Lakshman look like? Lakshman, he looked like a five-faced serpent. His bow looked like the hood of a serpent. The arrowheads that were there in his quiver, they appeared like the poking tongues of the serpent. And in his anger, it appeared that Lakshman himself was emitting the serpent's venom. So that kind of anger Lakshman was having. His eyes were totally red, and he looked around, and there he found Angada. So he told Angada, my dear boy, now you go inside and tell your father that I have come. So Angada went running. He was so scared. He just went running to his father, and he just barged into the room. And he said, Lakshman has come, Lakshman has come, and he's almost there at the door. And please listen to my advice, my dear father. Lakshman has already come here. We have to get alerted. And hearing, this well, Angada, still Sugriva and everyone else, they were very baffled. So Angada goes and he holds the feet of his father Sugriva. Then he goes and holds the feet of his mother Tara. Then he runs and he holds the feet of his aunt Ruma. And then he tells everyone, please, please get alerted. Lakshman is coming. And Sugriva, who was completely drunk at this point in time, he was filled with drowsiness and dizziness. He could not comprehend what Angada was telling. He was in a complete intoxicated, lustful state. So he was looking at Angada, trying to understand what really happened. Why is my son holding everyone's feet now? And then this Vanaras, they had two ministers. Their names were Plaksha and Prabhava. So these two ministers, they came and they also started telling Sugriva. Originally, they were ministers of Vali because they were the kingly ministers of that Kishkinda area. So this Plaksha and Prabhava, they came and they told Sugriv, hey, Lakshman has come, and there could be any possibility out of this. He might even end up killing us, so you better be alert. And they say Ram and Lakshman are very great personalities. By chance, they have come here. Actually, they are completely independent. If they want, they can go and bring Sita by themselves. But they have done you a favor. They have bestowed the kingdom upon you, and they have taken friendship of you. And it appears that they are saying that they are dependent on you to bring back Sita. But actually, they are completely independent. Please remember, don't underestimate them. And this Lakshman, he has come here very angrily. So get up and go and approach him and ensure that you calm him down. So then, still Sugriva didn't understand anything. Angada was holding to his feet. Plaksha and Prabhava were trying to give him advice. Then finally, Hanuman, he spoke. He told, "My dear Sugriva, get up now. Go along with your son and all your relatives and go and fall at the feet. Prostrate yourself in front of Lakshman and pacify him immediately." Whatever Ramachandra had told, it has to be abided by you. You have given him a promise, protect your promise. So, on hearing all of these words of Hanuman, he was finally awakened and he could understand that Angada, his ministers, Plaksha Prabhava, and Hanuman, all of them are trying to tell him that it is sensible for him to get up and go and meet Lakshman. Sugriva gets up, but then he's still confused. He says, "But why is Lakshman even angry? I did not speak anything ill of them. I did not commit any mistake. I did not disrespect him. Why is Lakshman getting angry? Why is he thinking that I'm an offender? Maybe did one of my enemies go and speak unfavorably about me to Rama? So that's why Rama's thinking, I won't keep up my promise." See, as far as Sugriva was concerned, he thought he has already taken action. So he was wondering why so much anger. So, like this, when he was asking all these questions, Hanuman, he could understand. Hanuman told Sugriv that, "Sugriva, listen, I know very well that you are having the intention to keep up your promise. There is no doubt that you have forgotten the help given to you by Raghava. But it appears that he is really annoyed because of the delay. Time is moving on and no communication has been made. So it appears that Lakshman has come because of this." So he says that look at the environment around you. Chaturmas is already over. The sky is clear. The stars and clouds are seen very nicely. Everything is clear. Lakes are clear, which means the time has passed. You have forgotten to communicate. And Raghava, he is not a person who will simply, whimsically come and show his anger on you. If he has sent Lakshman to alert you, to ask you to take action, that means it is very, very pertinent that you have created a blunder and you better get out and go and stand in front of Lakshman and beg pardon, folding your palms. See, this is how a guru actually guides a devotee. So we see that the essence of the Kishkinda Kanda is that one attains the Lord through the Guru. And we said that Sugriva is going to attain the mercy of Lord Ramachandra through the medium of the Guru Hanuman. Right? That's how Govindaraja, commentator, he gives the essence of the Kishkinda Kanda here. So Lakshman is clearly, Hanuman is clearly telling that if you want to pacify Lakshman, what should you do? You have to go in front of him and fold your palms and pay obeisances and calm him down. So this instruction is very, very pertinent because this results in the next Sharanagati, which is Sugriva Sharanagati, not to Vali or not to Rama. At this time, Sugriva, he surrenders to Lakshmana, who's a representative of the Lord. So Hanuman says, prostrate yourself in front of him, along with your son and all your friends, and clasp his leg, hold your palms like that. Seeing that, he will be pleased. So this mudra is called as Anjali mudra. That is when you fold your palms. The meaning of Anjali is Jalayati iti Anjali. Akara, Vishnu. Okay, Akara is for Vishnu. Krishna also says among the Aksharas, I am Akara. So when you do that, the heart of the Lord, it melts. uh, and he starts crying, meaning like he's so moved by your surrender. So this mudra is very, very powerful, especially when you hold this mudra in front of the deity. It's considered extremely powerful. So Hanuman teaches him, go fold your palm in supplication, and then you beg relief from all the offenses that you have made. So then, of course, Sugriva goes out, and there is an invitation told to Lakshman to come inside. No, actually, Sugriva doesn't go yet. Hanuman has told this. Meanwhile, the people who are there in Sugriva's palace, they go tell that Lakshman can come inside, because still Lakshman was waiting outside. So they go and they send an invitation for Lakshman to come inside. And Lakshman, he enters this beautiful, beautiful palace of Kishkinda, and he's able to see so many different monkeys. And all these monkeys at this point in time, they all fold their palm and they welcome Lakshman. And Lakshman sees this splendid Kishkinda. It is filled with jewels. It has so many flowers, and it has all lovely, enjoyable objects. And in this area of Kishkinda, there were multi-storied buildings. Each of these buildings was filled with precious stones, and the flowers and the fruits that were there on the tree, they were completely very, very adorned very nicely. They were also, each of these fruits were nicely relishable. They were looking very beautiful. And Lakshman was seeing such a beautiful Kishkinda as he was walking uh, into the palace area. He could also see many of the Vanaras who were children of different demigods. So, like this, Kishkinda city was so beautiful. It was situated on a whitish mountain or a whitish hill, and he passed through 7 chambers before he was taken to meet Sugriva. So you can imagine the size of the palace, you can imagine the size of the mountain, and the kind of the grandeur that was there. Though they were Vanaras, we very casually say monkeys, right? But these were a special species of a special species of creation. Okay, they were not ordinary monkeys; rather, they were Vanaras. They were very sophisticated Vanaras, not like the monkeys, little monkeys that we see. So anyway, he went through the 7 chambers, and finally he was taken to meet Sugriva. And in that inner chamber, when Lakshmana was taken inside, he could hear the tinkling of the ankle bells of the female Vanaras. And Lakshmana was getting very angry because he was not here to enjoy a pleasant mood. So the female Vanaras, tinkling of ankle bells, pleasant music, all that he could hear. And this was not creating happiness in him. Why do we need this nice, pleasant atmosphere? So that we can feel good, right? But then when Lakshman was going in, it was only creating more and more bitterness in him. And he was so annoyed. Again, he twanged his bow. And everybody, they were alerted. Oh God, he's not at all happy. And then Lakshman was in no mood at all. Hmm. And when he saw all these exotic Vanara women, he was getting very irritated. So when he twanged his bow like that, this time, now Sugriva, he jumped up from his throne because he knew Lakshman has come to the door. He's come to the 7th chamber. That means he's right at my palace. So he jumps up from his seat, and then he calls Tara. He's not ready to go out and face Lakshman. He's so scared to face Lakshman. So he calls out Tara, and he tells Tara, you know what? You are the only one who can go and face this man. And if you go and you speak, just by hearing the way you speak, he will get immediately calmed. And on seeing you itself, Lakshman will start controlling his anger. Of course, he's not going to be violent with women, right? So you go now. So you go in the presence of Lakshman. First, you calm him down. And once you think he's okay, I will come and present myself in front of him. So Tara said, okay, I will go and I will handle him. But how did she go? So here Valmiki says, it was, in one sense, the commentators also say that it was planned that way because she was extremely intelligent. Tara was very intelligent. At this point in time, she was very intimate with Sugriva, and she was not even dressed properly, Tara. So she was not in a presentable state. Now, if there is a personality, great personality who's in front of us, if we are not in a presentable state, what will we do? First, we'll make ourselves presentable, right? But at this point in time, Tara understood what she had to do. Commentators say she actually went willingly unpresentable so that Lakshman will immediately shut down. His system will shut down. His anger will shut down. So how did she go? Let's see that. सा प्रकश्ल सा प्रक्लश्लमती मद विह्वलाक्षी प्रलम्बकाञ्ची गुणहेमसूत्रा सलक्षणा लक्ष्मणसन्निधानं जगामतारा नमित अङ्गयष्टि Mother Vilvaha Akshi. That means her Akshi, her eyes were so intoxicated, filled with mother. It was filled with madness. Pralamba Kanchi Guna Hema Sutra. The Hema Sutra, the griddle, on your, you have this mekhala, that is the belt that she was wearing, the belt ornament. She had not even adjusted it properly. It was just falling off. Her skirt was almost falling off, and she was trying to tie it. Namita Anga Yasti. That is, she was so exhausted, she was not even in a health, what do you say, in a fit state to just walk straight and brisk. No, she was so exhausted from all that she was doing there inside, with her body bent like that. She went in front of Lakshman, Sir Lakshana, with the features of certain impressions that she had not even wiped away after being with Sugriv. So, Pralakshati Gamane, she went with a waddling gait. That means she didn't even walk straight. She was intoxicated. She was in a very lustful mood. So, she didn't even rub off her. Whatever, her face or her body, and she didn't even adjust her ornaments. So, in that kind of a situation, in a waddling gait, she goes in front of Lakshman. Now, the minute Lakshman sees this, obviously he's not going to see her face to face and start cursing her, right? Knowing Lakshman, the first thing he does is he puts his head down. He's like, I don't even want to see such a woman in such a state. So, when he cast down his head, at that time, he just stopped speaking. His anger instantaneously was washed out and it was controlled. And she started speaking. First thing is her presence, okay? A woman who is not very properly dressed, who's in intoxicated state, who's in a lustful state, has suddenly made her appearance in front of a man. That to a man like Lakshman. Lakshman will never see another woman, so he just put his head down and he stopped speaking. And then this Tara, she begins to speak. Tara is known to speak very, very diplomatically and control any person in front of her. So she begins to speak to Lakshman. She says, Oh Prince, what is the cause of your anger? Who is not listening to your order? Um, what is the problem? Why are you so angry? And then Lakshman, who's still looking downward, he says, It's your husband. He seems very carefree. He's not even taking care of his kingdom properly. He's not worried about the interests of the kingdom, nor is he thinking about us who are cringing in anguish. We are suffering, his kingdom is suffering. He's not thinking about anybody and he's simply enjoying sense pleasures. That is the problem. Indeed, a friend who has given his word, he has to keep up his word. But your husband, he's forsaking even his word. And Tara, she understands that, okay, it appears that Lakshman is now angry because the stipulated time has been lapsed. So, but however, she had full confidence in the orders that Sugriva had given her. Sugriva had already sent orders for all the Vanaras to come within 15 days. So, she responds to Lakshman saying that please don't get angry. It's not apt for you to get angry so much. Sugriva is actually not at fault. He has good intentions and he want to ensure that the results that we are after is favorable. And she says, look, I understand what Ram is going through. I understand Ramachandra is also angry, but Sugriva is actually not to be blamed. It is just that he is not given enough information. He has already made a command for all the Vanaras to assemble. So there is actually no fault in Sugriva. He has acted on time, but it appears that the time has lapsed. So she tells that you are telling us that we should Sugriva should not be enjoying so much. He should first take care of his kingdom and keep up his word and all that. But at the end of the day, we are all Vanaras. And for Vanaras, not to enjoy in sense pleasure is intolerable. It is very, very difficult. Sugriva has been with all the female Vanaras and he's bound up with lust. It is only normal for us. Our life is like that. And then she tells, look, Lakshman, I assure you, this is the truth. Sugriv has already summoned all the Vanaras from different directions. So you can be assured that we are taking action. So, having said that, she invites Lakshman to come inside and she asks all the female Vanaras to move away. So, but now Lakshman, in a hurry, he enters in, and there he gets the first sight of Sugriva, who's sitting on an exquisite throne, hugging his wife Ruma, and he sees Lakshman. The minute Sugriva sees Lakshman, he starts breathing very heavily and he jumps up from his golden seat and he stumbles and he runs towards Lakshmana. And as Hanuman told, he goes and he folds his palm in front of Lakshmana and he stands still. Because at this point in time, Sugriva was not in a state to even walk properly. He was so intoxicated that he was just stumbling and falling, and he went in front of Lakshman and he just folded his palms. And then Lakshman began speaking. Once he saw Sugriva face to face, he said, what kind of person are you? A king who is dynamic, who's very sympathetic, who has his senses under control, who's an advocate of truth. Only such a person can rule nicely. But what are you doing? Hmm? And he tells a person gets the sin of killing 100 of his relatives or ancestors if he promises to give one horse and he doesn't give that horse. And if he promises to give one cow to a person and fails to give that cow, he gets the sin of killing 1,000 relatives. If he promises to a person to do a help in need and fails to render that help, then he gets the sin of suiciding along with the sin of killing his immediate family members. And he who gets his means fulfilled through a friend but does not show gratitude, O Vanara, such a treacherous person has no atonement from sin. There is no atonement for a thankless person. You have to keep up your word. Remember, even in the Bhagavatam, the same thing is being told by Bali Maharaj. I have to keep up my word because Bhumi Devi, she cannot bear the weight of a person who doesn't keep up his word. So Lakshman also says the same thing. How can Bhumi bear your weight? There is a forgiveness for all kinds of sins, but this kind of a sin is unforgivable. And he says, Ghogane cha eva surape cha chaure bhakna vrate tata nishkirtir vihata shabdi krithagne Na asti nishkriti. Atonement is there for slayers of cows, for drinkers of liquors, for the thieves, for the violators of vratas. But there is no atonement available for a person like you who remains thankless. So he said, Vanara, Sugriva, you achieved your means through Ram, and Ram now wants his endeavor to be a success. And don't you think searching Sita is your duty? Have you forgotten it completely? And can't you even think how much this Raghava has done for you? He has ensured that you get this kingdom. He has ensured that Vali is killed. So, Sugriv, just don't take things lightly. You have to abide by your commitment. Remember, he repeats the dialogue that Ram said. The path by which Vali is slain, that path has not got tapered. It is still there. Rama is going to send you through that path to hell. So, like that, or the path to death, basically. So, like that, Lakshman, he warns Sugriva. Then Tara, she still tries to mend ways. So Tara, she says, okay, Lakshman, it's okay. You don't have to tongue lash Sugriva so much, it's not worth it. He doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. He's definitely not an unthankful one. It's not that he is very lazy and he's not an upholder of truth. He's duplicitous and all that. Yes, he did take a lot of time indulging in pleasures. And but remember, this Sugriva, for the honor of Ram, for the sake of Ram, he will be even ready to disown his wife Ruma. He'll be ready to disown me. He will even be ready to disown Angada, his kingdom, his food grains, livestock, what not. Definitely, Sugriva is not a thankless person. He'll do anything for Raghava. Surely he will be responsible and he will bring Sita and unite her with Raghava. So, and then she says, you're talking, you're getting so angry, but let me tell you some extra information. Don't think the Rakshasas, the demons headed by Ravana, are very easy to handle. I have heard that that Ravana in his capital, he has a trillion plus 36,000 units of military, which consists of 10,000 warriors and hundreds and thousands of other demons are there. So, without eliminating such a huge army, it will be impossible for us to go and tackle Ravana and then bring back Sita and unite her with Lord Ramachandra. For that reason, this Sugriva, he has already summoned hundreds and thousands of Vanaras to set up our own army. She says, I have gathered all this information already. I know the strength of our opponent. All this information I've heard from Vali in the past about the greatness of Ravana. So he's got a very well organized network of army, and our Sugriva also has to gather that army and he has sent a command. So it is just a few days, it's just a few days. Everybody will be here. Innumerable monkeys have started. In fact, it's not like you just have to wait for a few days for the for the Vanaras to come. Actually, the Vanaras are on the way, and within a few days, we can all of us can go and we can fight the battle. It's just a few days to go and search for Sita. The search for Sita will just take a few days. But the people are coming, and Sugriv has given them 15 days time limit. So many of them are already flying in the air. They are going to come and they will ensure that Lord Ramachandra's his mission is actually a success. So, like that, Tara, in various ways, in a very submissive way, she argued, and at this time, Lakshman was silent and he was listening. He was now listening because he could understand that Tara is assuring him that actually action has taken place. So then Lakshman, he started, having a pleasant face at this point in time, and seeing him, Sugriva, he felt like uh, this cloth when you dampen it. That is when you all wash cloth, right? Supposing you wash a sari in a bucket, the sari absorbs all the water. Then, when you have to take out the water, you squeeze it, right? You squeeze that, and then the water comes down. So, like that, Sugriva was now like a person who had given up the water from a dampened cloth. So, all that stress that he was having now got squeezed out by the words of Tara. So, like this, Sugriva. Now he started speaking to Lakshman. After he understood that Lakshman's mood was now somewhat relaxed, he said, surely, it is with my assistance, I will do whatever is needed to help Rama regain Sita. And he says, I know very well my assistance is only namesake. Actually, your Rama, he can do everything. He can rip apart trees with his bow twang of this bow. He can create earthquakes. I am nobody, but I will do whatever is needed and I'm ready to walk behind him with his army. Please, if I have overstepped you in any way in faith or friendliness, and whatever it may be, unknowingly, if I've done something, please pardon me. I am always your attendant, and I've never had any intentions of offending you. So when he says this and he folds his palm and makes this beautiful statement, Lakshman gets so moved finally, and his heart melts, and he smiles at Sugriva and he says, Sugriva, I know Rama is very, very confident that you are a great Vanara and you will surely keep up your word. I know you will be the best supporter of Ram. In fact, you are as good as Ram in your valor and your vigor, and you have come as one of the children of the demigods. So I know your power. So very nice. I'm very, very happy to hear this. So now let's go and see Ram. And Lakshman also says, maybe I was very reflexive. I spoke bitter words to you. So if I hurt you in any way, you please pardon me. So like that they say. But now the point here is Sugriva, he asked forgiveness from Lakshman. So he folded his palms and he surrendered to Lakshman. And he said, if I've overstepped in faith or friendliness, I may be pardoned. I'm an attendant of yours and I had no intentions of offending you. And Lakshman forgave him right away. Lakshman's heart was moved immediately. When he showed the Anjali Mudra, Lakshman's heart was moved and he said, it's okay, I forgive you. Even if I spoke something wrong, you don't please take it to heart, right? This is considered as one of the Sharanagatis. This is the 10th Sharanagati in the Ramayana, and it was a grand success. In contrast to the Sharanagati that Sugriv made to Vali. When Sugriv went and fell at the feet of Vali, his Sharanagati was a failure. Vali kicked him out. But then the Sharanagati that he did in front of Lakshman was a grand success. Why? Because obviously Lakshmana himself is an expansion of the Lord. And secondly, there is another lesson that is being taught by the commentary of the Acharya. He says, Sugriva fell at the feet of Lakshman, or rather, he did Anjali Mudra and he asked for forgiveness in front of Lakshman. But did the same Sugriva go and specifically go and beg, tell sorry and beg for forgiveness from Lord Ramachandra? No, he didn't do that. He just stopped with Lakshman. But still, he was forgiven, and Ramachandra accepted Sugriva. Why is that so? The answer given is that if one begs forgiveness from a devotee and not the Lord, though the offense is made to the Lord and the devotee pardons the offense. Okay. Because he has begged forgiveness, because he has begged for forgiveness from the devotee, the Lord doesn't take it seriously. However, if the offense is made to the devotee itself, even if we go and beg for pardon from the Lord will not forgive us unless we go back and fall at the feet of the devotee. So I'll say that again. This is what is written. It says the offense made by Sugriva was actually to Ram. But where did he beg pardon? He begged pardon at the feet of a devotee. And was he forgiven? Yes, he was forgiven by, because of the mercy of the devotee, he was forgiven by even the Lord. Okay. But if an offense is made to, say, for example, Lakshman directly, and Sugriv goes and begs pardon from Ramachandra, Ramachandra is not going to leave him unless he goes and falls at the feet of Lakshman. So, in either way, the best way for us to ask for forgiveness is through a devotee. So that's how this entire thing is analyzed, this Sharanagati. So anyhow, now Sugriva, before he could walk out along with Lakshman to go and see Ram, he started giving further orders to Hanuman so that Hanuman can intensify or make the orders go far and wide. He tells, ensure that all the Vanaras on the summits of these 5 mountains, which is Mount Mahendra, Mount Himalaya, Mount Vindhya, Mount Kailash, and the Mount Mandara. Not only these 5 mountains, I also want all the Vanaras from Udayagri, Ashtadri, Mount Padma, the blackish monkeys from Anjanadri, that is in their Kishkinda area only, the monkeys with a golden hue, with a reddish hue coming from Mount Meru, and all the monkeys that are on earth, every single nook and corner, all of them should come. All these monkeys, or Vanaras, actually, they are Vanaras, all these Vanaras should alert others also. That is, it's not that, okay, they get the information and they come. They should alert the other nearby Vanaras also and bring all of them. So all of them should arrive by 10 days. Now he reduced. First he said 15 days, some days back he said. So now the time has reduced. So he says now 10 days. By 10 days, they should come here, and those miscreants who do not come, they will all be prosecuted. So they will have to face death sentence. And on hearing this order of Sugriva, Hanuman, who is Vayuputra, he dispatches many people, many Vanaras as messengers so that all these Vanaras can get collected. Meanwhile, within the second command went, in a split second, they could already see many Vanaras that was skyrocketing in the airways, because these Vanaras, they had mystic powers of flying and jumping. So they were coming like as if this entire sky was filled with many aeroplanes. They were coming from all directions. This heaven or the sky that was once measured by our Vamana Dev was filled with Vanaras, and they were coming from all different directions. 30 million Vanaras with inconceivable swiftness and the color of black mascara came from Anjanadri. Okay, that was very close by. They came to close to the place where Raghava was campaigning, in that Malyavanta Parvat. In that area, they started coming, all of them. 100 million monkeys from Ashtadri. Ashtadri means the place where the sun sets. There's a mountain in the west where the sun sets. From there, 100 million monkeys with the complexion of refined gold, they had come. Then the Vanaras, who have the color of a lion's mane, they came in 1,000 crores from the pinnacles of Mount Kailash. And then those animals, or the Vanaras, who were subsisting on fruits and tubers, came in 1,000 crores from the different parts of the Himalayas. Millions and millions of Vanaras who have this gruesome look with the color of red, like the planet Mars. They came from Mount Vindhya, and they came very swiftly. The count of the Vanaras who came from the Milky Ocean and from the Tamala woods and from the coconut forests and groves were almost 1 million. It was uncountable. So, like this, different kinds of Vanaras were already coming, and they were landing in this area of Kishkinda. And how did they come? Some of them were bringing medicinal herbs, fruits, and tubers as gifts for their leader Sugriva, and they presented it in front of Sugriva to accept it. So, like that, they had rounded up all the areas, the mountains, the rivers, forests, everything they had come. And Sugriva was telling, oh, by your command, look at this. All these Vanaras have come. And Sugriva was very happy seeing all of them come, and he accepted the gifts that they gave. Now Lakshman told, okay, really, everybody has come now. It appears a lot of people are coming. So Lakshman tells Sugriva, okay, no, let's go and see Ramachandra. So Sugriva, what he did was, when Lakshman was so eager to go and talk to Ramachandra along with Sugriva, he summoned some of his associates to go and bring a gorgeous palanquin that was decorated with a lot of gems and had beautiful cushions. And he asked Lakshman to be seated on it. So he told Lakshman, you sit on this carriage, this golden palanquin, and we will ride on a palanquin, and we will go and meet Rama. So Sugriva, he was surrounded by hundreds of Vanaras who were shouting Sugriv ki jai slogans, and they were wielding weapons for his protection, and they traveled in this palanquin. And finally, they came to this Malyavanta Parvat where Ramachandra was staying. And Sugriv and Lakshman, they descended from this beautiful palanquin. When Sugriv reached Rama, he stood still and he didn't move. He stood still and he had his palms adjoined like the Anjali Mudra. And he remained very still looking at Ramachandra. He was a little fearful. But Ramachandra had already seen that so many trillions and millions of monkeys had assembled. And he looked at Sugriva and he raised up Sugriva, and he actually embraced him. Actually, Sugriva was folding his palms and he was almost falling to the ground. And Ramachandra went, he smiled and he picked him up and he hugged him. So he hugs Sugriva and he tells him, please come and be seated. Then Sugriva, he took the seat on the ground. He didn't sit, on an equal level with Ram. And Ramachandra tells him, that you know who a good king is? A good king is one who divides his time equally for duties, prosperity, and pleasure. That means one who gives equal concentration to dharma, artha, and kama. Everything is important. Kama alone is not important. So Sugriva, he thanks Ramachandra and he says profusely, like everything, whatever I got is only because of you. I got this kingdom only because of you. Only because of you, I got my wife. Everything is only because of your mercy. And then he showed, look, so many Vanaras have come to serve you. They have come from all different places, from every nook and corner of the earth. These Vanaras, they can penetrate through different kinds of forests. They can fly, they can jump, they can climb mountains. And not only Vanaras, we have bears, we have baboons, and all of them are highly empowered. They are children of various demigods and Gandharvas, and they know the pathways through this entire earth. And they are very efficient in wars. And surely, with the help of all of them, we can fetch Maithili and we can also eliminate Ravana in the war. So, like this, Sugriva, he tells Ram. And then Sugriva, he tells that Ramachandra, that see, all of them, they have taken a lot of effort and definitely they will cooperate with you and we will make this mission a success. So Ram's face finally blossomed like a lotus and he hugged Sugriva again and he said, there is no wonder in seeing a friend like you act like this. Indeed, you are a great friend. As long as you are by my side, I can accomplish anything. You are indeed a very good hearted friend. And that demon Ravana who carried away Vaidehi, his extinction is nearing. There's an analogy of how Ravana carried away Vaidehi. Here, Ramachandra compares Maithili getting carried away by Ravana to be similar to how Anuhlada is one of the brothers of Prahlada, one of the sons of Hiranyakashipu. So Anuhlada once carried away Shachi Devi, the wife of Indra, who's the daughter of Puloma. Sachi Devi was a daughter of Puloma. This Puloma was a demon. Demon's daughter was Shachi Devi. Now, Puloma and Anuhlada, they had an understanding. It's quite interesting. So Anuhlada goes and talks to Puloma, who's the father of Sachi, and they scheme a plan. And this Anuhlada goes and tries to kidnap Sachi Devi with the permission of the father. But then he was killed by Indra. The father-in-law was killed by Indra. And from that day, Indra came to be known as Pulomajit. So that I thought that was an interesting story that was embedded within this particular verse. That Ramachandra says that just like how Anuklada had taken away Shachi Devi, similarly, this demon Ravana is taking away my wife, but he will be killed, just like how Indra killed not only that Anuklada, he also kills Puloma, who conspired with him. So, like that, Ramachandra says very soon they will be killed. In a meanwhile, more Vanaras were coming. So, while they were talking like this, the dust was risen up and the entire sky was covered with the dust, and there was darkness in all directions. And it appeared that so many more Vanaras are coming. Who is this Vanara who was coming now with that, raising so much dust and covering the sky with darkness? It was the great Vanara by the name Shatabali. Now, this Vanara, how did he come? He came with 10,000 crores of Vanaras. Then, from another direction, came Sushena, who's the father of Tara, and he had the shine of a golden mountain, and he came with another 1,000 crores of Vanaras. Then he saw another Vanara chief by the name Tara, who was actually Ruma's father, and he turned up with another 1,000 crores of Vanaras. Then Kesari, the father of Hanuman, whose bodily texture was like that of lotuses, was resplendent like the sun, who was graceful among all the Vanaras. He came with another thousands of armies of Vanaras. Then Gavaksha, who's another very, very valorous Vanara, he came with many baboons, and there were 1,000 crore baboons. So, like this, Ramachandra, within a few minutes, he was surrounded by so many crores of Vanaras. Not only did all these great Vanaras like Sushena, Shatabali, Kesari, Gavaksha, and others come, even Pana, the blackish Neela, the commander in chief, Gavaya, Dharimuka, Mainda, Dvivida, with 1 crore each. Gaja, Jambavanta with 10 crore bears. Rumana, Gandhamadana, Angada, Tara, Indrajanu, Ramba, Durmukha, Nala, Dadimukha, Sharabha, Kumuda, Vahini, and even Ramha. All of them, they came with their troops. So, like this, while so many Vanaras were jumping and flying and coming from all directions, they were crying out, cries of wars. They were, yeah, we are here, we are here. They all came like that. And they told Sugriva, they went and came and paid their obeisances to Sugriva, saying, we are now here. You can take a head count of all of us. All of us have assembled here. So, like this, when all the Vanaras came, Rama was so happy. And Sugriva folded his palms in front of Ram and he said, look, everybody has come. All the Vanaras, he tells them, now you can go and camp near the rivers and mountains and ensure that you're in a comfortable place. Rama wants to inspect all of you. He wants to see if all of you, all the count is there. So we are going to soon check attendance. So he gives instructions to them. And he tells whatever Ramachandra says, you have to execute that task. And he looks at Ram, Sugriva, and he tells, actually, I already know what task you have in hand, but then it is not good for me to give instructions when you are there. So it will be ideal, Rama, if you give instructions how these Vanaras should conduct themselves, what they should be doing. You give instructions to the army of Vanaras instead of me speaking out of turn. So when Sugriva was telling like this to Ram, Ram again smiled and he hugged Sugriva and he told Sugriva, two things have to be done immediately. It's not that we go on a war right away. No. Before we go as an army to fight a war, we should know where to go, right? Two things have to be known. First and foremost thing, we have to find out if Vaidehi is alive or not. That is the first thing we should know. Second, we should know the place where this Ravana and Vaidehi are. We don't even know where they are. We are assuming he could be here, he could be there. We have collected an army, but where is the army going to go? So we have to make two things clear. We have to know, is Vaidehi alive? Second, we should know the dwelling place of this Ravana. Where has he kept Sita? This has to be determined first. Only after knowing about Vaidehi and the dwelling place of Ravana, I can give an order I can give an order that is suitable for the next action. That too, I will give that order only after discussing with you. And then he tells Sugriva, don't think that I am the master of this task. Lakshmana is also not the master of this task. You are the catalyst and you are the master of searching for Sita. Searching for Sita is your task. So you should be the one who issues orders to the troops. I will not directly issue order to the troops. I'm only giving you a suggestion. Two things should be clarified. First, then I will tell the next steps, but you issue the orders to all the troops. So when Rama said this, Sugriva said, okay. He called out to Vinata, the first commander in chief, and he said, Vinata, you have to take over the eastern direction. Okay. You will go all over the eastern direction of Earth and you will search the rivers, mountains, lakes, woodlands, forests, everywhere. Go and see where Sita is. Next, he calls out to the chief of the southern direction, who is Angada, headed by Angada. In his team were Hanuman, Jambavan, Maida, Dvivida, and many others. He told them, you are in charge of the southern direction. You will go in the southern direction trying to find Sita. Then he called out to Sushena, who's the father of Tara, and along with Archisman. Archisman is the son of Marichi. and they had many followers called as the Achismans. So all of them together, they had to search the western direction. And Shatabali, along with his sons who are representatives of Yamaraj, that is, many of them were sons of Yamaraj, because all these Manaras were sons of different demigods, right? So they were given the job of searching in the northern direction. And then finally, Sugriva, he calls out to Hanuman to discuss something very private with him after he gives specific orders to these four Vanara leaders who go in four directions. So I'll repeat the name of the Vanara directions, and today we will see the map of Sugriva. How Sugriva describes the northern direction, southern direction, eastern direction, and western direction. So for the eastern direction, the leader is Vinata. For the southern direction, the leader is Angada, who will also go with Hanuman, Jambavan, Mainda, Dvivida, and others. For the western direction, it is Sushena, who's the father of Tara. For the northern direction, it is Shatabali. So these are the main Vanara leaders. Now we will see the map. Okay, the map of Sugriva, how he describes these directions. Now he has named the captains for the directions. Now he will tell you what to go and see, how the western direction will be, how the northern direction will be, how the southern direction will be, and so on. Now, how did later, this question will be raised. How did Sugriva know so many details of the universe? He talks about every single mountain and lake you might find in the eastern direction and western direction and so on. So it is Sugriva himself says, how did I know? Is because when Vali would chase me, I would go from one place to the other, and I've visited all these places. I've gone all around Bhumandala in fear, in fear of Vali. And finally, I settled in the Rishyamukha Parvat. So basically, Sugriva had first-hand information. He had visited all these places. He had a very good memory. So he could tell each of these leaders what to find in different directions. Now, how do we go about the directions? Valmiki Ramayana itself says it should be taken from the center of India. Okay, it's not from Kishkinda, north, south, east, west. From the center of the Bharatavarsha, you should go for north, south, east, west. Okay, that's how the description goes. So, in the east, he begins. There are forests, mountains, impassable places, and everywhere he tells them you should go and try to find Sita and the residents of Ravana. So, where all search should be conducted, you should search in the river sides, you should search river Bhagirathi, river Sarayu, Kaushaki, go to the Yamuna, go to Kalinda, and so many other places. He tells you have to search kingdoms like Brahmamala, Videha, Malwa, Kashi, Kosala, Magadha kingdom that has grand villages. You should also go to the kingdoms of Pundra and Anga, kingdoms of Koshakara, and so on. Everywhere you will look for the presence of Vaidehi or the presence of Ravana. Then you should strive hard and you should jump further and go to the island of Yava. Yava is like Java of today. And there he says there will be seven kingdoms. It's not just one island. All the islands in that particular section, they are all put together. Seven islands, huge islands in that area. You should search in all these different areas. See, if you see this description of the eastern direction, many of these places are very familiar. All these names are very familiar. Like, for example, everyone knows Sarayu, Kaushiki, Yamuna, Kalinda, Kosala, Magadha, these kingdoms are still present, right? So from the center point of the Vindhyas, you should take the east, west, north, south. That's how he has divided the search. So he says, once you jump across the ocean after finishing the Indian continent, basically, you go to the Java Sumatra Islands, and there are many more islands surrounding that area. Today, there are so many names for all these islands in the eastern side of the ocean. So, like Japan is there, so many countries are there, right? So he says you go to each of these islands, and there he says in one of these islands there is a mountain by the name Shishira. This Shishira, it even touches the peak of heavens. And their gods and demigods, they come and they have pastimes in this place. Demigods and demons, they have many pastimes in this place. Then once you cover this entire area, you should jump further and you should move on to other dvipas. Now these areas were accessible in previous time. Today we don't have accessibility to Plakshadweep, Shalmali Dweep and so on. So but he says beyond Jambu Dweep, you jump and you go to the different dweeps. Like you see in the presentation, there is this diagram of all the dweepas. Within Jambu Dweepa, there is a little place, in Bharatavarsha, there is a little country that is India today. But in those days, these people, they had access to further places. So he said, once you cover these places, you move on to Plaksha Dweep, you move on to Shalmali Dweep. In fact, on Shalmali Dweep, you will see the mansion of Garuda. Garuda has his own mansion in Shalmali Dweep. And this mansion was constructed by Vishwakarma. Then you should also go to the Milk Ocean. And in the center of the Milk Ocean, there is a white mountain called as Rishabha. It is surrounded by huge trees and it has heavenly fragrance. There is a lake called as Sudarshana there, and it has silvery lotuses. You should go around and search everywhere. You will find demigods, charanas, yakshas, kinnaras, apsaras, all of them enjoying in this place. Then you cross over the Milky Ocean, and then you will see the soft water ocean, nice drinking water ocean. Then in the northern province of that nice drinking water ocean, there is a mountain called as Jatarupashila. It's a golden rock mountain. It glitters it glitters like gold and it spreads across 13 yojanas. You should search everywhere there. You will even find the thousand-hooded serpent called as Ananta in that mountain, holding the earth on its head. That means he's asked him to go till the end of the Bhumandala. And if he looks down, he can see Ananta holding up the universe, actually. That's what he's telling. Then you also go to Udayagiri. That is the end. The end is the Udayagiri, where the sun rises in the east. And in the pinnacles of Udayagiri, you will see that the peaks are touching the heavens, and that Udayagiri will look completely golden because of sun's rays. You will also see the Vaikhanasas and the Valakilya sages who are performing austerities. They are thumb-sized rishis who hang upside down and they perform austerities in Udayagiri. So you should go and search in every single nook and corner of that mountain to find Sita or Ravana. So, but you have only 1 month time. So he's telling you cover this world, Earth, and then you go further, you cover the entire Bhumandala in the eastern direction up till the Udayagiri mountains. And you should even peep down and see Ananta, everything you see, and then you come back, search for Sita and Ravan, and then you come back within just 1 month time. And he says no one should exceed even a minute more than a month. Next, he calls the southern people. Who are the southern troop? Hanuman, Angada, Jambavan, Neela, then you have this Mainda, Dvivida, all of them were the southern side party. Now, Sugriva, he gives a very vivid picture of the southern side of Bharatavarsha. Not exactly Bharatavarsha, but from the central point of this entire island you can take, okay, from the southern part. So he says, what you have to do is you have to start moving along with Jambavan, Vrishabha, Mainda, Dvivida, Gavaksha, Gandhamadana, Ulkamukha, who are the sons of the ritual fire, and so on. He gives a big list of the Vanaras who would go in the southern direction. And then he talks about the southern quarters. He says, first of all, you search the Vindhya mountains thoroughly. Every single nook and corner, you should climb all the trees and you should see if there is anything at all in the Vindhya mountains. Then you go to the Narmada river, that is a little in the southern direction. And Narmada is adorned by beautiful snakes. Then you move on to Godavari river. Search Krishnaveni river, search Mahanadi, search river Varada, search Mekhala, Utkala. These cities should be searched thoroughly. Avanti, Vidarbha, all these different cities in the southern direction, along with Dandakaranya forest, the mountains, caves, rivers, Godavari rivers, then proceed to the real South India, that is Andhra, Pundra, Chola, Pandya, Kerala. So all these different places, these kingdoms still, like, I mean, even in till recently, they all existed, right? So all these kingdoms have to be searched thoroughly. You should go to Mount Malaya, the Malaya Hills in Kerala, which is crowded with iron ores, and it has sweet smelling flowered forest, the sandalwood forest. They should all be searched thoroughly. And you should go to Agastya Malai. That is the hill where Agastya lives in the Western Ghats near Tamraparani. You go there, then you go to Kaveri River. Go and check out Kaveri River. There are so many apsaras who are making pleasure trips. So you have to search that thoroughly. Then again go back to Malaya Mountain. And if Agastya permits you, then you can look around very thoroughly. And then you cross over River Tamraparani and go and search inside Tamrabarani. Now, Tamrabarani is a part of the Pandya kingdom, Madurai area. This Tamrabarani is cherished with crocodiles. There are many, many crocodiles. And he says, in the Pandya kingdom, you will see a golden castle door, which bracing a compound wall, and it has a beautiful fortress, and it is decorated with pearls and jewels. This is about the Pandya dynasty where everything is gold. So you go and search in that entire dynasty. Then finally, after going through the entire south of India, you will spot the Southern Ocean. When you see the Southern Ocean, you have to take a firm resolve that based on your individual capacities, you will leap the ocean. Specific instructions. See how Sugriva is telling. Because this is what is going to happen, right? When all the Vanaras, they go to the southern tip, they ponder who's going to cross the ocean. How did they ponder? They started talking about their individual capabilities. So he says, spotting the southern ocean, you all should take a firm resolve based on your individual capacities, how you can leap through the ocean. And how should you leap the ocean? That also he tells. Go climb Mount Mahendra. Mahendragiri is there. Go climb Mount Mahendra and then look forward and see what is beyond the ocean. Calculate the distance, and then from there, whoever is capable should jump off, and you should reach the island that is called as Lanka. So he very clearly he says that. He says Mahendragiri, it is filled with so many beautiful trees and climbers and many sages, demigods, yakshas, apsaras. You will find all of them, siddhas and charanas. In fact, the thousand-eyed Indra, he also visits Mahendragiri on every Amavasya day. So Indra comes there every Amavasya. He says, on the other side of the ocean is this dazzling island, which is 100 yojanas wide. It is extremely beautiful, and especially you have to search in that place because there is a very good possibility Sita can be there because it is known to be the dwelling place of Ravana. Okay, so he says, yes, Ravana could have taken Sita anywhere and Ravana could be living anywhere. But also, there is a very high possibility that Ravana could specially be in Lanka and Sita could also specially be there because it is his own place. So he tells you have to go and search Lanka very, very thoroughly. He says, go and search repeatedly. He says, Sita and Ravana's residency. You have to go and search because Lanka, there is a very good possibility that she could be there. And however, it is also a note that Sugriva himself couldn't describe the interior elements in Lanka because he was not so acquainted with it, because it's not easy to go to the land of Ravana. So he couldn't give too many details about what could be in Lanka. But then he gives some tips that you should go, you should cross the Southern Ocean. And when he's telling about the Southern Ocean, he also says there is a demoness who catches one shadow, the Simhika demon. He talks about her. He says that you should be very careful of her when you're flying overhead. And then I don't know details about Lanka, but you all should go to Lanka, whoever is capable of jumping. You should go to Lanka and search Lanka thoroughly. Then you cross over Lanka further meaning you go further southward, which we don't have access to today. But in earlier times, there was access to all these different realms. So he says, further from Lanka, when you jump across, you will find a mountain called as Pushpitaka in the ocean. And there also you will find Siddhas and Charanas. And one of its summit is golden. And the sun and the moon, they adore that mountain. That Mount Pushpitika, when you go there, you have to bow down your head because it is highly worshipable. And then you cross that mountain and you go to another mountain called as Suryavan. And then there's another mountain called as Vidyut. Like that, he talks about so many mountains. He says from there you go to Kunjara, another mountain. And there Vishwakarma has built a big mansion for Agastya. You go and pay your obeisances to Agastya again in that place. Then there is a city by the name Bhogavati, which is the abode of the snakes. So as you go southern, you enter Atala, Vitala, Sutala, like that. You go all the way to Bhogavati. And Bhogavati has broad roads. It is safeguarded everywhere. Deadly serpents with venom and fangs, they are living there. You will see Vasuki. And on crossing that province, you will go to a mountain by the name Rishabha. That mountain looks like a bull and it is replete with all kinds of gems. There are sandalwood trees, but never touch those sandalwood trees because they are highly protected by the people there. Five Gandharva kings by the name Shailusha, Gramani, Shiksha, Shuka, Badru, all these, they are protecting these sandalwood trees. So don't touch them, but you go and you search everywhere where Sita could be. So, like this, he says, even you can go to the abode of Yama, but still you don't consider going there. It is very dreadful. But at least till there, you should search for Sita. And whoever comes and informs Sita is seen, he will be the one who will live with me on the same level and enjoy all luxuries. In fact, Hanuman speaks those words, Sita is seen later. Okay. So he says that person will be most dear to me than anybody else, and he will become my true confidant. So that is about the southern. Now, north and west is very quick, so I'll finish it, though we have take 5-10 minutes. Then Sugriva, he calls the west side people and he tells them to search for Sita under the leadership of Sushena, who's the father of Tara. And he describes the northwest of India up to the Arabian Sea and even the Persian provinces and so on. And he tells, look, Sushena, you are so massive, you're like a huge cloud. You go along with Achisman, the son of Marichi, and all his brothers called as the Archismalis. They are all equal to Indra in bravery and Garuda in their speed. They are a total of 200,000 Vanaras. So Sugriva asked them to search the western province, and he mentioned the places in the western province like Saurashtra, Bahalaka, Chandra, Chitra, and so on. So he tells about these ancient cities. He tells them about the Western Ocean, which is the Arabian Ocean, which is full of sharks and crocodiles. And then he talks about Jatapura, Avanti, and many other places. He tells them to check out River Sindhu thoroughly, the mouth of the Indus Valley, Hemagiri mountain, and then he says on that Hemagiri mountain you will find flying lions, sharabhas. They are we don't have those creatures anymore, but these lions, they can fly and they have 8 legs and all that. So then he says that you go to the peak of a parvata called as Pari Yatra, which is 200 yojanas in height. It will be very difficult to see it. It's glittering mountain. 24 crore Gandharvas are enjoying in that mountain called as Pari Yatra in the western direction. Please be careful. These Gandharvas, they get easily offended. So don't go and pluck fruits and vegetables in their area. They will start chasing you. So from Pariyatra mountain, you go to Mount Vajra, that is diamond in shape. That mountain will be so beautiful. And a lot of these Gandharvas and other kind of denizens of heaven, they come and they are enjoying their pastimes there. From there, you go to a mountain called Chakravan. Now, this is a mountain where Vishwakarma, who's the divine architect, he constructed a wheel on top of this mountain, the Sudarshan Chakra, like a Sudarshan Chakra. He constructed a wheel on top of it, so it's called as Chakravan. And this is the mountain where Hayagriva and the Panchajana demons were killed by Vishnu. So Vishnu, he kills Hayagriva, a demon called Hayagriva, not Vishnu's incarnation Hayagriva. There is also a demon called Hayagriva who was killed on this mountain, and there was another demon by the name Panchajana. Of course, in Krishna Leela also we hear Panchajana, but Vishnu has also killed another demon by the name Panchajana and acquired his Panchajanya. So, like this, after 64 yojanas from this Chakraman mountain, if you go further, you will find Mount Varaha. Then you go to Mount Megavanta. You will find 600,000 golden mountains. And finally, where will you go? You will go to Mount Meru. Yeah, and Mount Meru is blessed by the sun god, and but you have to search Mount Meru very thoroughly. You will see Gandharvas and demons and everybody, but still you have to move on from there and go to Ashtagiri. Astagiri. Astagiri means where the sun does Astaman. That is where it sets. That is the western end of all the mountains. And he says on the western mountain, there is a 10-leaved date palm tree, which is completely golden. Beyond that area is not accessible to the Vanaras. So he tells Western troops, you have only 1 month's time and you have to come back. Then he calls Shatabali. Remember that huge Vanara who came. So he told Shatabali, accompanied by 100,000 forest dwelling Vanaras, you should go along with the Vanara sons of Yamaraj. You have to go, all of you, to the northern direction. Who all are there in the northern direction? These provinces belong to the Mlechas, Pulindas, and so many other people. You have to cross all their regions. You have to go to Shurasena. You have to go to Kuru. You have to go to Madraka, Kamboja. The Yavanas will be scrutinized along with the cities of Shaka and Darda. Then search Himalayas. Go to Mount Kailas, Mount Soma, Mount Sudarshana, cross Mount Devashaka, and then you will see a vacant land, where there is no inhabitation for 100 yojanas. It is devoid of mountains, rivers, trees, but you will be overjoyed traversing through that place. And then you will go to Mount Kailash. There is a beautiful mansion for Kuvera. You will see that mansion. Vishwakarma has actually constructed that mansion. It is a beautiful place. There is a beautiful lake filled with lotuses. There you will see apsaras in that area of Kuvera, who's the son of Vaishravana. Then you have to search especially for Ravana on Mount Kailash, because it is Ravana's brother's place. It is his parental place. There is a very good chance that he may be there along with Vaidehi. Ravana is the brother of Kuvera, and he had taken Pushpaka from there. So he could have taken Sita and kept her in the Pushpaka in this area. So it is better you go and search there very carefully. Then from there you move on to Krauncha Malai, the Mount Krauncha, and then there will be an impassable tunnel there. There's a huge tunnel in that mountain. Inside that tunnel, you should go and search for Sita. And you have to, of course, take permission from the demigods and all who are guarding that place. And then you enter that tunnel and search for Ravana there. There is a good chance that he could have hid Sita inside that tunnel. There is also Mount Mainaka, another mountain that is present there. Search out the peaks and the caves in that mountain, and you will see horse-faced females, Ashwamukhi Kimpurushas there. Kind of species who are there in that area, in that particular mountain. And you'll also find the Vaikhanasa sages who are present there. There are beautiful swans. Kuvera's elephant Sarvabhauma visits that place. So like that, you will have to go and check out every single nook and corner of that resplendent place. You cross over the province. You will even have to cross the river Shailoda, and it has beautiful river banks filled with bamboos. And you will see Siddhas and Charanas walking there. And then there is the Uttara Kuru, northern Kuru, and you have to search that area thoroughly. And again, in Uttara Kuru, you will find many rivers, and you will find that the plants, the lotuses there are bluish in color, like lapis lazuli. They look extremely beautiful. There are thousands of rivers with such plants. There are sand dunes, and the rivers are crowded with pearls and jewels and rubies. And the females in the Uttarakuru province, they are extremely beautiful. They are radiant. They are like Gandharva ladies, and they look extremely attractive. But then you should search out everywhere there. You should pass beyond the Uttarakuru mountains, go to the northern ocean. There is a mountain called Mount Soma, and Mount Soma is so resplendent, it is like the sun. Lord Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma often visit Mount Soma, that is there in the northernmost tip. Under no circumstances will you go beyond the northern Kuru province, because once there is no way out. Once you reach that place, that's it. That is like the dead end. And this mountain by the name Mount Soma is impassable, so you should not try to go beyond that place. So after he talks about the four directions, Sugriva, he specially calls out to Hanuman, and he gives him a personal instruction. He says, Viseshena tu Sugrivo Hanumati Artha Muktavan Sahitasmint Hari Sreshten Nishchitarto Artha Sadhane. Sugriva, he quickly, privately called Hanuman, and he discussed a private topic with him about searching Sita with Hanuman. Sugriva was very, very determined that it would be Hanuman who is the best among all the monkeys, and he alone is the achiever of all purposes. Nishchitarto artha sadhane. He called out to Hanuman because he knows Hanuman is the one. Somehow he had a hunch. This man, this Hanuman, he is the one who will really find Sita because he's so intelligent. He is an achiever of all tasks. So he called Hanuman and he said, "Oh Hanuman, one thing I can tell you, I cannot see any impediment in your movement on land, on sky, on air, on water. So all the worlds that contain these demons, Gandharvas, Nagas, humans, gods, demigods, whatever, these oceans, these mountains, actually, you know everything. You have an unusual mobility because you're Vayuputra. No one can stop you. You're very, very capable, and you are just like your father, the air god. Therefore, Hanuman, you specially start thinking about the process how to find Sita. And when Sugriva was giving this very special instruction to Hanuman, Rama was watching. Okay, Ramachandra was watching, and Ramachandra decided to do something which we will discuss in our next class. So we'll stop here. Sorry for taking 10 minutes. And this Sugriva's description of this world, I know many people will have hundreds and thousands of questions because some places we have heard, some places we have not heard, some places are within the axis of this world, some places are beyond the axis. So this is something that has to be researched very thoroughly. We can somewhat compare it with the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and understand that basically Sugriva sent his troops not only in the reach of the world but beyond the reach till the point where the Bhumandala exists in east, west, north, and south. Okay, so I'll stop here. And I know it was too much, but yeah, the further sections will be easier to digest.
Yeah. No, Mataji, thank you so much. It was very excellently presented. Mataji, if you can share the last slide that you were sharing,
I
because I
just
want.
shared the picture, right? I have it in my notes. It was hard to put it in the slides, especially the east.
My point is that if somebody like this Krauncha Deep, for example, it's
Ah,
around the Bhumandala.
mm,
So this Krauncha Deep is basically accessible by all the four directions.
mm,
So that means they all went to that particular dweep, but like how to understand, that's what my question is, because it's not just the India, present day India, but it was sent outside of the Bhumandal, that
mm,
means Bharatvarsha.
mm. So,
So,
how to understand? Yeah, this is kind of difficult. So, Mataji, we are so used to two-dimensional models, right? It is, but you should imagine, I don't know, you should imagine it to be something in a multi-dimensional. We are just seeing a two-dimensional round figure.
mm,
But it has to be seen in multi dimensions. So you
mm,
can imagine if they cover one particular direction, it is a land in a particular direction. That land is searched thoroughly. If you go westward, you will reach certain places. If you go eastward, you reach certain places. It is more like that.
okay, okay, got it. And one more thing, Mataji, when Jatayu told that Ravan has taken Sita in the southern direction, then why everybody didn't go to the southern direction only?
Yeah, that is the thing that is discussed by the commentators. They say because the point is, yes, southern direction was given a lot of emphasis and importance, and he chose some of the best people to go to the southern direction. But at the same point, at the same time, when Jatayu said go in the southern direction, Ramachandra traversed in the southern direction. He
Mm,
traversed in that southern direction, and then he was told by the demon Kabanda, you go and make friendship with Sugriva, and then from there you carry on. So till
mm,
then, he has gone in the southern direction only. But the point is, Ravana could have taken Sita in any way, right?
mm,
He could have changed ways, he could have gone to any possible place. So every single nook and corner should be searched thoroughly. That is the point. And when they had such huge troops, they could divide and rule. So they said everyone go in different directions because the ways of the Rakshasas is very tricky. It's not that they go in one direction, then he can take a twist, a turn, and he can go elsewhere, right? And he has so many places that are dear to him. He can be anywhere.
yeah, makes
So
sense. Thank you.
but the first instruction of Jatayu saying go south, Rama followed that. He went till he saw Sugriva because step by step he was instructed by different people to go in to different places. And
Mm,
then finally, after he meets Sugriva, Sugriva tells, "Okay, she dropped the jewels. Here is the jewel." So you can imagine that she has crossed this place. But then this Rakshasa, we don't know where he has specifically gone with her. He could have gone anywhere. But
mm,
yes, they give lot of focus to southern direction. Yeah. And
yeah,
also to the place where Kuvera lives, because there is always something, some traversing between these two places, even with the Pushpaka and all that.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. It was very well presented.
Thank you so much.
Parima Mataji, please go ahead.
Again, Mataji, such an engrossing class. I wish you didn't stop. But I have this thing in my mind, Mataji, the Pandyan dynasty is this old?
Yeah.
Was it Treta?
Matsya Avatar happens there, right? Vaigai. The Matsya Avatar. Satyavrata was a king of the Pandyas, right?
Acha, I didn't know this.
Hmm. Ninth canto. Yeah. End of
Oh,
eighth canto.
wow.
The
Because
Pandya Chora Cheda are very old, Mataji. Very old. As far as I know, I
because
don't think.
yeah, because the history that we are taught is like they it's like from the 4th century BC,
Yeah.
the Pandya Empire, the dynasty
Mm.
started. That's what we are. I mean, we I did, at least I didn't know that it was this ancient.
Yeah, even the Meenakshi, it was a kingdom of Meenakshi, right? That's why they describe that golden palace and all that. The Pandya, very old. I mean, Lord Shiva and Parvati have ruled that place, so you can imagine. Even now, there is a temple for Meenakshi and Sundareshwara who ruled that area. Very
Yeah,
ancient. Yeah.
and even the
Is
Chola
that in
dynasty.
Madurai?
Ha, Madurai.
Yes, Madurai, and even the Chola dynasty is that old.
Tanjore, yeah, where we talk about Kumbh Mela, where the Kumbha fell and the nectar fell. So
Hmm.
originally, when Brahma created the first Kumbha fell in Kumbhakonam, that is all Chola dynasty. Yeah. Very ancient.
Wow.
Yeah.
And during the Matsya Avatar, who was the Pandyan king? King
Satyavrata.
Satyavrat. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Indradyumna, Gajendra's previous life.
Even
He's
he
also
was a.
Pandya.
Oh,
Yeah.
unbelievable. This is new to me. Thank you. I
Yeah.
didn't even
The
know
great
this.
Pandya king Indradyumna became an elephant.
Oh, wow. Thank you
Even the
so much.
Kerala is also very old. Mahendragiri Parvat from the time of Parashuram, right? Kerala.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for this wonderful class.
Yeah,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. And Parima Mataji, this is not this Treta Yuga. We are talking about the Treta Yuga
24th.
4 kalpa back. Not this kalpa.
Sorry, you guys
Oh,
chakras back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh
Ramachandra
yeah.
is 24th kalpa and this is 28th that is going.
Yeah, true.
Wow. Yeah, Mataji, thanks for pointing out that to me.
Yeah. So what I understand is definitely land masses change, the sizes change, the countries change, but still that ancient thing is not gone, right? Like you still have Madraka, you still have the Saurashtra, you still have
Yeah, I
Mathura.
noted that Saurashtra, matlab, it's so ancient.
You still have the same rivers existing, at
But
least for them.
Mataji, this Shakadvipa, this
Yeah.
Kushadvipa, matlab, they are outside of our planet Earth, right?
That's how we have understood because that's how
Yeah.
Bhagavatam cosmology talks about it.
Hmm.
Of course, modern day historians they try to limit everything within the world. They just put
Yeah.
everything from Americas to the Japan. Within that they try to limit the entire
Hmm.
geography of what Sugriv is explaining. But then Sugriv goes to the eastern mountain and he sees Sesha. I mean, I think he's done a thorough job of the entire Bhumandala. They had access, we didn't. We don't. That's all. That's how I see
Yeah,
it.
that's true. So we cannot even imagine it. I mean, we just have to read it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Unlimited.
Thank you. Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you. Okay. So if there are no more questions, we can end here.
I do have one more, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Wow, very, very captivating session. It was wonderful. It was a lot about the different places that they were all sent to, but and which beyond my understanding. But it was a very wonderful section. Also, it was very nice to know that Sugriva had taken action. It was just that there was a miscommunication or no communication at that point.
Yeah. Communication, we learn
Is the
over and
key.
over is the
Yeah.
key.
Yes. So question was, why did Sugriva have to go all across this Bhumandala and finally he settled in Rishyamukha? He would have known initially itself that because he was running away from Vali, right? So he would
Yeah,
have known
Wali
that.
was chasing him. He was running in all directions, trying to escape from one point to the other.
Yeah, and Rishyamukha is
Took him a
so
while.
close to Kishkinda.
It took him a while to realize, probably. It was an experience. Everything happens for a reason. Because he had this experience, he could give explicit orders.
Okay, okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes. So, one more question that I had. I'll come back to it later, Mataji. Kind of lost track. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll end here. And Mataji, I will send you the Word document. It was easier to read from a Word document than the slides. So I will send you that. Okay.
It's perfectly fine. But I really like that, yes,
Oh,
this
it is.
has a
Yeah.
for everything. And that's why Sugriva was made to travel around the Bhumandala and finally settled in Rishimukha.
Yeah.
So
And
apt.
he so apt.
Yeah.
And then it was perfect. He settled in Rishimukha. That way he could find Ram, help him, do everything that is needed. Right? Yeah.
Lot. Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you got your question back?
No.
No.
Sorry, I was driving. That's why I lost track when I was turning. So, yeah, lost focus about it.
Mhm.
Okay, then we can end here. Thank you,
Yeah.
dear.
Okay.
Thank you for your association. We'll look forward for another session next Monday.
Sure, Mataji. Yeah.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha.
कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय और ग्लोरीज टू ऑल द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा
Jai.
हरि बोल हरे
Thank you. Hare Krishna.